I do this on my phone now. Welcome everybody who is watching this on the replay. We're gonna wait and see who hops on for the live stream today. Just gonna adjust the camera a little bit while we're waiting here. We're going to talk about this full moon Gemini season, the energies that we are going to be experiencing as we have Venus moving into Gemini later this week, or Jupiter moving into Gemini later this week, and Venus moving into Gemini. I do believe on the day, sometime after the full moon, we're going to have that conjunction of Jupiter and Venus at 29 degrees of Taurus. And then Venus is going to move on into the lovely sign of Gemini for all of my other native Venus and Geminis, myself being one. Still waiting to see who's going to hop on. We are going to be using, where's my new deck that I just got? Right here. The Divine Codes Oracle to do some of the energy for the reading today. So I'm excited to be working with that. This is a birthday present that I got here. Always happy to use the brand new decks. It's going to be our first time playing with this beauty. Hello, Caroline. I'm so glad that you're here, sister. How are you? How are you doing? Happy almost full moon here. And I apologize in advance to everybody watching this live and on the replay. I may be itching quite a bit. Where we live, we have a body of water, and the bugs right now, where spring came so late, they're so intense. It's almost impossible to go outside without being swarmed by them. So I have bug bites everywhere. I'm so itchy. It's absolutely ridiculous. So just know that's what's going on. You're going to probably see a little bit of scratching happening here. And so those who are on the email list, I actually wrote an email, I think it was the day before yesterday, talking about these energies as we're moving through this full moon and then into Gemini season. Spirit was giving me this energy of really like these powerful choice points and these energies of duality that we're going to be working with as we begin moving into Gemini season. These very conflicting, we're being pulled in different directions, and the two directions that we're being pulled are the direction of the old self, the old identity, right? The old ego identity, the old timeline, and the new timeline and the new self that is being born. So it's like the past and the present into the future, like where it is that we're moving towards versus where we've been. And so as we begin to move through Gemini season, we're going to have a lot of opportunities to make choices and decisions, and those are aligning us either with the new energy that we're moving into or the old energy that we're moving out of. So we want to be really cognizant about the choices that we're making and recognize all of these choices and decisions, all of the things that are happening as opportunities to reinforce which experience of the world and ourselves we are wanting to step more firmly into. Hello, Dee, welcome. Yeah, I know it's a roller coaster, right, guys? Oh, I see Vita just joined. That's so funny. Are you on the live stream right now, Vita? I don't know if she is or not. She just joined. She just joined the email list. That's so funny, where I was just talking about that. I didn't know if that was a coincidence or not. Sorry, I wanted to put up the do not disturb there so we don't end up getting disturbed by a phone call here. But it's like, really pay attention to these choice points, to these opportunities that are presented to you, and what it is that you're, the actions that you are taking say about what it is that you are choosing. And one thing that I've been really working to embody lately, as I love it, I love you. One thing that I've been really working to embody personally lately is this understanding, and we talk about this sometimes on here, right? The understanding of like how you do one thing is how you do everything. And as I am continuing to level up in terms of how I show up in the world, how I show up for myself, how I show up for all of you, it's the importance of being who I am in this moment that we're sharing right now. When I'm working with a client, in every aspect of my life, right? So I'm not just showing up as one person in one respect and not in other areas. So I have to live up to the energy that I exemplify, and I'm really holding myself accountable to that standard now. So what does that version of me that comes on here and delivers these messages to you, what does she do when she's not on camera? What does she do when she's not doing an energy session, right? Or a belief work session, or what, an astrology session, whatever it is. How am I showing up for myself, for my family, for my friends in every aspect of my life, and really leveling up and having that mentality, that mentality of success, that mentality of integrity, that mentality of being fit in every sense of the word. I'm working on physical fitness, spiritual fitness, emotional, mental fitness. What are the actions that I take and how do they align with that? It's very much the energy of like, what do you do when nobody else is watching? All right. And I'll be honest with you guys. Sometimes I sit and I play games on my phone. Sometimes I zone out to Netflix. I used to do it a lot more often. I'm moving into an energy where I do that less and I do more things that are beneficial for me. You know, like we all need to unplug sometimes. We all just need to kick back and zone out. I think like disconnecting the brain in that way, obviously meditating or doing something like that is a better way to do that. It is what it is. It's not about being hard on ourselves, but it is about holding ourselves to a standard. Because that is when we set that standard with ourselves and we live up to that energy in every aspect of our being. And this is one thing that I've shared with you guys quite a bit about this energy of imposter syndrome and how that started coming up for me a lot as I started really leveling up in terms of how I'm showing up and what it is that I'm offering and what my goals and visions and aspirations for myself are. And my vision of myself started needing to shift according to what it is that I'm creating, that I'm manifesting, right? This imposter syndrome and a lot of this other stuff started coming up for me and I'm still working through it. And it's a constant evolution from what I'm told. Like it's never really going to go away. But one thing that makes it better is when we show up in all areas of our lives in this same energy, we start feeling less like an imposter because it starts feeling more, you know, for a long time, it was like, I would channel this stuff to you, right? This, whatever came through would come through in these live streams. But then when I would go into my off time, I wasn't always applying everything that I was sharing. And, you know, they say we teach that which we most need to learn. So it's really about putting all of this energy into practice. And that's what's so important for each and every single one of us, I think, is that energy of we've learned so much. We're in this healing process. We've grown. Now, how are we applying that knowledge, right? Because wisdom is applied knowledge. How are we gaining that wisdom? How are we living that? And so myself, just like everyone, it's like, what are the choices that I'm making and what are these choices aligning me with? The choices that I make on a day-to-day basis, on how I spend my free time, whatever that means, right? What are those aligning me with? What I'm creating, what I'm manifesting, what I'm moving towards, or what I've already been, what I've already had, what I've already experienced that I'm ready to level up and move beyond. So just a little tangent there as we get going here. Absolutely, living up to our own standards versus other people's standards for us. Yeah, that like... That's key right there. Absolutely. We've been trained, right, to live up to society standards. And that was kind of the analogy in the full moon in Sagittarius video when we talked about wearing the glasses, right? And I talked about the energy of like, when I let people try on my glasses and they're such a strong prescription that people can barely even walk in them because everything looks distorted and wonky. And this whole analogy that like we essentially have been walking around life wearing somebody else's glasses, those glasses being representative of somebody else's opinions, somebody else's belief system, somebody else's values and morals and ideals, right? That's the programming of society, the programming of the matrix. And so it's about taking those off and walking around with glasses that are our own prescription, essentially, right? So we can see the world and view the world through a lens that is more conducive to what we truly know and believe as a result of the experiences that we've lived and the wisdom that we have gained through those experiences. That's what Sagittarius energy is all about. All right, so let's clear. Let's pull from the Divine Codes Oracle. I had something come up, and so I got on here a little late, so we're not going to have a ton of time today, but I did want to get on here with you guys and pull a few cards, pull a little bit of energy, because it's always a busy weekend. As you guys can tell, you don't see much from me on the weekends. I work on the weekends at you know, I have a side job or whatever. I guess some people might call it my main job, but I consider this my main job. The reality to that is catching up, right? And my clients and all of that I'm moving more deeply into again since having my son. But I have another job that I work on the weekends, so it gets a little crazy on the weekends. I wanted to make sure we all touch base. And of course, I'm going to see everyone on Patreon tomorrow night for the full moon, a little bit later than usual because I have some other stuff that I have to kind of squeeze in there. It's definitely a juggling act, a shuffling act here. Glasses, I wear Coke bottles too. Oh yeah, my glasses are, it's, now that technology has advanced a little bit, the glasses that I have now, they don't make me look as funny as they used to when I was younger. You got to pay a lot of money to get the lenses made in a certain way where it doesn't make your eyes look like they're like this big. Like I call it like the reverse Bubbles effect. If anyone's ever seen Trailer Park Boys, you know, Bubbles has the glasses and he has this huge bug eyes. My glasses do the exact opposite. They shrink them down because they magnify everything so much. So the ones I have now don't do that as badly, but they do that. And just like they do that when people are looking at me, they can see it in the way it's reflected. It does everything to my surroundings too. So it's very strange, very strange. I highly prefer my contacts to my glasses. I've had to work back into wearing glasses. When I was younger, I used to just put in a pair of contacts and wear it for a month straight without taking them out. And my eyes started getting irritated after about a decade of doing that. It was like I wanted to pretend like I had normal vision. And, you know, I wanted to wake up being able to see. And so there were people that didn't even know that I wore glasses for a really long time because they had never seen me in a pair of glasses. When I got clean, actually, I did not have a pair of glasses anymore. And my eye doctor, when I went to see my new eye doctor, was like, you know, this is highly unsafe for you not to own a pair of glasses. Like if you lost your contacts, you would be incapacitated. You'd barely be able to get out of the front door, let alone like do anything else. So like, we need to fix this. And so, yeah, I have them now. And I don't know why we went on that ramble there, but we all hide behind something, right? We're working on it. And I'm working on healing my vision through the aura hypnosis sessions that I had. I actually set the intention to very slowly and gradually improve my vision. And I said slowly and gradually because it would be really expensive and really crazy if it happened too fast, because growing out of contacts that quickly in such succession, it would be like a very expensive process. So I did find the last time I went to the eye doctor that my prescription had decreased a little bit. So my eyesight is healing. It's going to be a process, right? Everything, like we said, it's a journey, not a destination. It's a process, not an event. Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. You know, it's important that we're honest. You know, it's important that we're honest about what we're doing, what we're going through, where we're at. And I'm going to continually I've always been upfront and honest with you guys, but I'm going to be increasingly more so in sharing more of what I'm going through and what I'm experiencing, because I'm doing a lot of self-healing. There's a lot of, like I said, as I've leveled up my expectations of myself, my view of myself and what I'm capable of, what is possible for me, all those old belief systems and all of that stuff is coming up to be worked through, like a level that I have not dealt with before. And so I feel very called to share that process with you. And I'm going to continue to share that process with you as I'm moving through these energies, because I think it's really helpful. This is stuff that we are all dealing with. Everybody who watches this channel, right? Like, you came here to be of assistance to humanity. You came here to heal. You came here to grow. You came here to evolve and ascend and to help humanity do the same, right? And this is what that work looks like. It's looking at all that ugly stuff. It's looking at all that uncomfortability. It's being able to show up and say, like, yes, I feel insecure sometimes, oftentimes. Yes, sometimes my mind still tells me that I'm not good enough, that I don't have anything to offer you, right? That I'm a phony, that I'm a fake, that I'm whatever, right? That you're not going to love me, that you're not going to stick around if I show you the truth of who I am. That's all illusion. It's not real. It's not real, but sometimes we need to see people going through that process. We need to see people struggling with those same things to understand that and to realize and like that we're not alone, because that's what that little voice wants to tell us as well, right? Everybody else is doing great. Everybody else has a grip on this, a handle on this, and you for some reason don't, right? You're behind. It wants us to compare our insides to everybody else's outsides. And it's really easy to do when most people are putting up that front that just shows the good stuff. Right? But we don't grow like that. Right? And we don't connect like that. When I see people who seem to have it completely together, who act and appear like they're 100% healed, whatever that means, right? There's not a full resonation with that, because then it's just like somebody that's up here on this untouchable level, this untouchable pedestal that I can't reach, right? And it sometimes makes me feel bad about myself, because I'm like, shit, how come I haven't gotten there yet? How come I'm still doing this or still doing that, and I still have these self-sabotaging patterns and this and that? And it's like, we're all at different levels, and they probably do too. They're just not showing it, Yeah. I like that. D says, you don't tolerate others lying to you. Why would you tolerate lying to yourself? That's profound right there. Absolutely. Yeah. Hello, Indigo Spirit. Welcome, beautiful. Welcome, Stanley. Welcome, Reflection. Annika, beautiful Annika in the house. Yeah. It's so important that we all show up authentic. And maybe some people are showing up authentically as somebody who is like this guru type, who's done so much of this. I mean, I have a mentor who is very much, a lot of the time, I mean, he still goes through his own struggles, and he'll share those with me. We are friends now. We're on that level of connection and realness. But there's a lot that he has already worked through. You know what I mean? So there are people who have reached certain levels of whatever. But when you're going through something, be open and honest about the fact that you're going through it. That's what we all really need. We need that realness. We need that rawness. That's how we empathize. That's how we connect with each other. So yeah, like if you're struggling right now, you're not alone. You're not alone. I struggle too. I am struggling too in my own ways on a pretty consistent basis, but I'm doing better every day. Right? And I'm gaining more, and I've had the tools. I'm using the tools more and more, right? You know what I mean? It is a process, exactly. And I almost made a video the other day, but it wasn't. I had other things that I needed to do. Maybe it was avoidance, right? Because it was still that level of getting vulnerable and uncomfortable. Just about mental health issues and dealing with mental health issues, and sharing the fact that I have my own mental health issues that I struggle with. Depression, anxiety, like you wouldn't believe, OCD. I've been working through with the EFT tapping a lot of the OCD issues, and it's actually helping quite a bit. But that's been a big struggle that's actually gotten worse as I've gotten older. It's been really fascinating, right? Because we know fear is a lack of faith, right? And it's that energy of needing to control. And it's OCD is a really bizarre thing, you guys. It really, truly is. As I've been tapping more and more, I've been releasing more and more of that. But it's like I deal with all of that stuff to a level that is pretty ridiculous sometimes. Sometimes it takes me like 20, 30 minutes to get out of my house because I'm checking everything 5,000 times, making sure everything's off. I mean, it's the little rituals and the little things but it's important to share about that, because it's like, even though I deal with that, even though I go through cycles, and you guys may notice it because you don't see me quite as much as you would normally, depressive cycles, cyclical depression and types of things like that, I still show up and I still keep going, right? I still keep moving forward. I don't let it define me or defeat me. And that's what people need to see. That's what people need to hear. It's still possible. It's possible to be dealing with all of that and still show up. So yeah. Now let's get into the cards. Clear. Yeah, fear is a lack of faith. False evidence appearing real is another definition of fear that I enjoy. When I was in 12-step, we used to say, fuck everything and run. But I like false evidence appearing real, because that's really what most of our fears are, right? We're not even afraid of things that are actually happening. We're afraid of things that could happen or might happen, or things that we think would happen if we do something. It's just a way of our ego keeping us what it thinks is safe, right? So we have dive deep as the first card out. This is a 4 card, continuing with that 4 energy here. And this is Do Not Resist, Just Fall. And aren't these just like the wildest looking cards? They're so strange and they have such cool, like, I really like them. And the feel of these, for those of my card enthusiasts here, they're like this beautiful velvety kind of a finish. They're really nice. So highly recommend. This one, like I said, is the Divine Codes Oracle. No, I'm not getting paid for this. Maybe one day. But for my honest opinion, right? But no, they're really cool. Hi, Tommy. Welcome. Oh, thank you, Annika. I love you. You are very inspiring to me as well. All of you guys inspire me so much. You are my inspiration. You are my inspiration to keep picking up and moving forward. Really, truly, honestly. So I love the 4 energy coming out for us again. So this is surrender, essentially. We're going to get a couple more cards and we're going to feel into that a little bit more. But I'm definitely feeling that energy of surrendering. I feel like this interesting. So as I'm looking at this card, it feels to me as though somebody is really struggling to keep their head above water here. And they're not realizing that if they would just kind of give up fighting and allow themselves to take a moment to kind of move beneath the surface of the water, they would find like this beautiful, like, look at all this cool stuff that's happening under here. You know, so it's not like let life defeat you, but it's like if you're really struggling. So one of the analogies that I can use here to work with this energy that would really go along with what we've been talking about too is like, if you have been struggling to keep your head above water in the sense of like struggling to uphold some sort of image of yourself to a person or people in your life, some sort of facade, some sort of anything that you've been struggling to uphold, any sort of image. And it's like, if you would just surrender that and release that trying to control how people view you, you would realize that there's like so much more beauty to be experienced. And I don't know if that analogy is going to hopefully work with somebody. But that's like one example of what this means. It's like life wants to pull us in one direction, but we're so busy struggling against it because we think that it's the wrong way to go. We think that it's going to, like, we're having to give up something that's really important to us. But it's like the thing that we're needing to give up is actually the thing that's holding us back, even though we think it's what's holding us together. So Spirit is trying to put us in position here. And we're like railing against it because we think that we're supposed to be in the position that we're at right now. Hello, Lavender. Welcome, beautiful. Divine timelines. There we go. How perfect is this? Everything meant for you is being put into place behind the scenes in the subtle realms. So there's that confirmation of the message we just received, right? Spirit is trying to put you into position right now. So allow yourself to be moved. It's like you're so afraid, to use this analogy from the other card, you're so afraid of drowning that it's sort of like that energy of like, if you get thrown in the water and you have this fear of drowning, you start flailing your arms around and like getting crazy, right? And you actually drown yourself in the process. Whereas if you could calm that feeling for a moment, you would actually float. So it's like the fighting, the resistance is what's actually drowning you. And if you just allowed yourself to float, Spirit would carry you to where you're meant to go. if that makes sense. So whatever is falling apart in your life right now is making way for what's meant to be to come together. It's creating the space, the opening for that energy to be created. Because remember, we have to have the space for it. Like a really simple analogy of this is, you know, they talk about like if you want a new wardrobe, get rid of all this outdated stuff in your wardrobe that doesn't fit. Make space for what's coming in. You know, I remember a manifestation coach that I used to watch used to talk about, like, if you're trying to manifest a relationship, clear out some space in your drawers. Clear out half your closet. Make the space for their stuff to go. Create the room in your life for them to come in. And so that's just like one representation of how we can do that. So it's that kind of energy. Spirit is trying to make the space for what is meant for you to enter. But we just keep trying to fill that space back in. Let spirit fill it in. Be comfortable in the emptiness. Be comfortable in the void. Because that void, what do they say? Nature abhors a vacuum or something like that. The void will not exist for long. Something will come and fill that space. But if you're just grabbing at anything to fill it, it's never going to get filled with what was intended. Hello, Shayra. Glad you're here with us. Beautiful. Exactly. Relax and let spirit support you. Hello, Gina. I love you. Beautiful. Exactly. Ooh, I like that. Will you make space for me to love you? That's profound. That's what spirit is asking each and every single one of us. Will you make space for me to love you? Will you make space for me to support you? Will you make space within your heart for me? Within your consciousness. And how do we make space within our consciousness for spirit? Through meditation, of course. Yeah, I love that. All right. So we have embodiment practice coming out here. Step out of your mind and drop into your heart. This is so funny, right? You can't make this up. Move your body to shift your vibration and release any stagnant energy currently present. And this has been coming up a lot in readings. And I know this has been really important for me too. So one thing that some information that I received recently. And so, like I said, I'm gonna be sharing with you guys everything that I'm going through, right? Because I think it's really important. Maybe not everything, but a lot of things, right? There are some things, that I have to respect other people's boundaries and stuff like that. But all the things directly related to me and me alone that I'm dealing with. And so one of the things that I have been dealing with and struggling with, that I've struggled with for all of my life, has been body dysmorphia. I had an eating disorder among the many things that I worked through and worked with when I was younger, when I was in high school, middle school, early high school. And after having my child, there's been a lot of that energy. It's been a process, and it's been a process of learning how to accept just the shifts and the changes, right, that are happening and have happened. And to accept the fact that, like, in order to get to the place that I want to be, like, I got to put in a little more effort than what I'm putting in. You know what I mean? And I got to work out. I got to take care of my body in ways that I haven't necessarily had to before. And that just is what it is. That's also part of getting older. You know what I mean? I just turned 38 a couple days ago. So I had my son when I was 30, 36, quit smoking, right around in that time frame as well. There's a lot of changes going on, and there was a lot of resentment around, like, me having to put in the work. And so, but it's like what I was shown, and the reason I'm sharing this with you guys, besides the fact that other people might be going through that and learning to love themselves through that process, was that my body was speaking to me in the sense of, like, the extra weight that I'm holding on to. It's an energy. It's because I am stuck. There's areas of my life where I feel stuck. And so that stuckness is manifesting in extra weight. All right, in extra heaviness. And part of what I need to do also to get my energy, to get my chi moving, to get my energy circulating is to start working out, is to start moving my body more. All right. It's really, really important. The mind, body, spirit connection, moving our physical bodies, the way that we care for our physical bodies. It's like, I might not like that I'm having to put in this extra effort now, but it's actually ultimately going to be really good for me. And it's actually ultimately going to get me into better shape, not just physical shape, but mental shape than I've ever been in, if I'm willing to commit myself to doing the things that I need to do. And that is a great metaphor for anything that we're working through right now. There's going to be more effort required than we've had to put in the past, but it will reap better rewards, and it will be worth it. Right? And there's something that we learn, this is Saturnian energy here, through that process of discipline, through applying that discipline to the situation. There's something more that we gain through that process. And we become that much stronger as a result of all of that. Right? So it's like really getting moving, working with yoga, working out, and dance, anything that we're doing, we have to move. We have so much energy coming in with all these solar flares, the CMEs, all of that, those activations and energies, everything else is going on, right? We're receiving this from all sides. In order to integrate this energy, in order to allow it to really move through us, we need to be working with it. We need to be moving it through our bodies, moving it through our systems, working with the breath. Breath work is the next thing that I'm really going to be throwing my energy into, is learning that, working with that more. And I look forward to that in the future as being something that I can share with people. That's next on my list. That's a powerful way to move energy through you as well. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. It expands when we work out, when we put our body to work in this way, it expands the electromagnetic field. I love that reflection. Absolutely. So it's really important. It's really key. It's like Spirit's going to use whatever it needs to use to get us to do the things that we need to do. For me, it's going to use my vanity, right? Like, I like to be a certain size, you know? It's not a popular thing to say always, but it is what it is. I feel more comfortable in my body when I am a certain size. And I am a very small person. People, you may not be able to tell on here, I'm under 5'2". Right? I'm short. I have a small bone structure. You know, I'm not like I'm more comfortable when I have a certain amount of me that I'm carrying around. So if I want that, I got to put the work in. And the funny part about that is that the work that I put in is actually what I need to do anyway for my health and my ascension. So it's like, it's going to get us any way it can. All right. Doesn't matter. We used to say this in 12-step, like, it doesn't matter what your motivation is, as long as it gets you like they used to say when it comes to like, even if you got clean out of resentment, let that be the fire that keeps you going, right? Let what got you here keep you here. You know what I mean? Until something else is keeping you there, right? Like eventually you might come in, you might get clean because of a resentment, but you start to do it for you because it feels good, right? The energy shifts over time, but it's like Spirit doesn't care what's getting our ass moving, what's lighting a fire under our ass. It's just that fire is getting lit. And so we can do something about it, or we can continue to complain about it, and we can continue to feel victimized by it and sink into the unfairness of it. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to change. It's not going to change what is. It's just going to change what timeline it is and what version of ourselves that we're moving towards. I love that. Dancing is perfect, Shara. Yes, yes. Exactly. Exactly. And I've, especially, you know, when my son was young and everything like that, there wasn't a whole lot of moving around. And I live somewhere where it's pretty cold. I don't like the cold, you guys, like, for anyone who hasn't picked up on that yet. So I don't really go outside at all when it's cold. And it's been cold this year for a really long time. And now, like I said, anyone who was here at the beginning of the live stream, all the bugs, it's actually really difficult to go outside because you get eaten alive right now. Apparently it's going to calm down by the end of June. Thank God. But yeah, it's intense. You know what I mean? But I got to find more ways to do it. I got to find, it's like excuses, right? We can keep making excuses, or we can come up with solutions. And there are solutions. I can dance around my house. I just got a really good deal on a treadmill from a friend, you know, and some free weights and some stuff like that, you know, that we can put in the garage, and we can do that. You know what I mean? Like, there are things that we can do. right? There are two types of people in the world, right? There are the people who have a solution for every problem and the people who have a problem for every solution. Which type of person are you? And we get to choose. If you're that, I used to be, and sometimes I still fall into that energy, and I can hear myself doing it. That's the thing. Like, you can hear yourself, right? When somebody offers you a solution and you just come up with another problem. Oh, well, I can't because. Oh, well, that's not going to work because. You know what I mean? And so if you hear yourself becoming that person, like I said, bugs, itchy, so itchy, you guys. Shift that energy. Shift out of that energy. Recognize it. See, oh, I'm doing that again. All right, what can I do instead? That's the energy. What can I do instead? It was 35 when I said that. I wonder if there's significance to that number. All right, there will be for somebody. There's a reason I said it. If I remember it, if it was for me, I'll remember to look it up after the live stream's over. Definitely energy representing change with the 5s in there, right? Divinely guided changes, mind, body, spirit with the 3s. Okay. So we've got the embodiment coming into our bodies. Remember, ascension, this is a process that is happening within our bodies. Our heart is the portal to the 5th dimension, like we always talk about. Our bodies are the portals. They are the stargates. Our bodies are, like, our light bodies are activating. We are ascending. Our physical body is very much a part of this. So if we are cut off from our bodies, if we are not at home in our bodies, if we don't move into our bodies, so to speak, we're not going to catch the wave, you guys. I mean, everyone will go somewhere, all right? But we may not end up where it is that we would desire to go, where we came here to go, which is to whatever level of the ascension journey our soul chooses, whether on this planet, another dimension. All right, let's see what that was. That was dramatic, right? We have rest and retreat. Number 12, a call to slow down, come back into your own energy. And this is a good reminder as we move toward Gemini season here, because Gemini season is a little bit of that, the ADD type energy. Sometimes Gemini wants to be everywhere all at once. Right? It's a very social energy. We want to get out there. We want to network. We want to move around. We want to connect with people, have conversations. And it's great for the extroverts. For the introverts, sometimes it can be overwhelming. So we need to make sure that we come back to ourselves, that we have that balance, that we're not outputting more than we're able to restore. Right? Because that's sort of when we talk about extroverts and introverts, and many of us are both, like I used to call myself an extroverted introvert. I'm much more of an introverted introvert now. I used to be much more extroverted when I was younger. It was that Venus and Gemini energy was much more prevalent when I was younger. But an extrovert charges up their energy through other people, through interactions with other people. An introvert charges up their energy through alone time, connection with nature, a lot of times connection with spirit, just being in their own energy. They are their energy source. Spirit is their energy source as opposed to other people. And most people, not everyone, but a lot of people finding this channel will be introverts. So we need to make sure that we are recharging ourselves. Yeah, Indigo Spirit, I love that. I'm a Virgo moon, so I get that completely. The energy of, she says, I have a solution to every problem, mine and theirs. Hashtag Virgo. Yeah. People, that gets on people's nerves sometimes too, but because not everybody wants a solution to their problem. You know what I mean? And I have to rein that in sometimes and really know who I'm talking to. Does this person want me to hold space for them? Or do they want a solution? Because my instinct as a Virgo moon is also to be like, okay, so what are we going to do about this? Right? And sometimes people don't want to do anything. They just want to vent, you know? And so it's like allowing people to have that balance of like, okay, you get the time to vent. You get so many opportunities to vent about the same thing, and then we're moving into solution. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I work, you know, with my friends. And some of them love it, and some of them don't talk to me anymore because of it. You know, it's like we have an opportunity. Let's hear about the problem. Let's get that energy out. And then it's like, okay, so now what are we doing? And sometimes, and this is the energy, is like sometimes people want to stay in the problem, and that's okay. That's okay. But I'm not the person for you in that situation anymore, you know, because I am like moving out of the problem. finding the solution, finding the growth. And it's like accepting everyone where they're at, but also understanding where we're at and where that energy aligns and where that energy doesn't, and when that energy aligns and when that energy doesn't. But having infinite love for everyone and where it is that they choose to be at any given time. Everybody knows, or I hope that they know, you know, the people in my life, I hope that they know that when they do move into the space of like, all right, what do we do about this now? Like, I'm your girl. Give me a call. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? And I will support you in that process. But until that time, it's, you know, people just naturally avoid me. I think a lot of my Virgos on here can relate to that. Or any of my earth signs, really. I'm a Taurus sun, Virgo moon, Mars and Capricorn. A lot of earth going on here. Yeah, let's get it done. Exactly. Yeah, got a couple more Virgo moons here. Yeah, I love that, Indigo Spirit. I just moved into coaching myself. I have mentioned it quite a few times. If anybody is interested in coaching, let me know all about it. Working with astrology, working with all the different tools at our disposal here, energy, therapy, you name it. Cards when called. Yep. Yep. No, Spirit. D says, stayed in my current comfort zone for too long, and now Spirit is treating me like a football and punting me. It will do that. It will do that. Yep. Cap, Moon, Virgo, Venus, Taurus, Jupiter, and Saturn. There we go. Love it. Love it. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that, Shara. Bless his little heart. All right, what else do we got here? We can pull a couple more. Do we want to keep? Yeah, we're gonna pull a couple more from this deck because I just really like this deck. So we're gonna close with a couple more cards from this deck, and maybe a crystal card. Maybe a crystal card for guidance as we move through the full moon tomorrow. For all those who won't be joining, I shared in the email that I wrote for my email list. I also shared a possible full moon ritual for those who are not on the Patreon and won't be joining us tomorrow night for that. And for anyone on here who is on the Patreon, I did make a note that that's rescheduled to 8 o'clock because I have some stuff that I have to get done before we get that started tomorrow. So we're going to be doing that at 8 o'clock. It was funny. We usually do it on Tuesday nights, and we had to reschedule, and it just happened to fall on the full moon, which was perfect. And the ritual that came to me involved writing down the past limitations, the limited perspectives and belief systems, paradigms that we've been functioning under, the ways that we've seen ourselves in the world that limit us. Burning those in the fire, of course, using fire. I like to use it for every moon ceremony, every ritual really, but it's even more powerful when we have a fire sign that the moon is in. And then writing your perfect day. A day in a perfect life, so to speak. If you were living the life of your dreams, what would a perfect day in that life look like? Really getting into it, getting creative with it, and then putting that aside. And it was actually shown to me to use, like to put it aside with a piece of pyrite or citrine if you had it, and to just tuck that aside somewhere and set that intention of like, this is a perfect day in my life 5 years from now, 5 weeks from now, or even 5 months from now. And when that time has passed, go back and get that paper out and read it and see how aligned you are with that vision. Of course, D. Yes. Yes. And we all know that's Eastern Standard Time that I'm talking when I talk about the Patreon. All right. So anyone who wants to try out that ritual, we're going to do that. We're going to do that together for the Patreon, I do believe. All right, Empowered Empath is our closing card here. You are endlessly in control of your own energy. You are safe and protected at all times. And then self-acceptance on the bottom of the deck. You are beautiful and divine as you are. You are not broken. Okay? So really stepping into our empowerment. All of us, so many empaths, right, in this tribe. We're really stepping into an energy. We have clarity under that, revelations, all doubt and confusion being replaced by clarity. We're stepping into a place of much greater clarity, a place of deeper self-acceptance, self-love. That's what this month has been all about, is really opening up our hearts, cracking our hearts open, really helping us to step into and embrace this energy of self-love, self-acceptance, right? Seeing ourselves not as broken, never broken, but as somebody who has experienced things that have created some chinks, right? There are some places that need some mending, but that doesn't mean that we're broken. Just means that we're growing, that we're learning, that we're healing, right? That we're ascending, because ascendance is a process of growth. It is not a process of stagnancy. It is a process of growth and learning. The cracks are how the light gets in, right? The cracks are how we learn. So it's like stepping into ownership of our energy. And I just did a video for TikTok, actually, talking about this energy of becoming very selective about who we allow in our space. I use the analogy that came through in that video that I did. It was of the Sphinx, right? Sorry, I got to take that down. You know, you guys, you ladies are not even ladies, right? Because some men have big hair too. You know how heavy the hair gets sometimes when you have it up, like the headache from holding it up too tightly. But it's that analogy of like the Sphinx came through, you know, and how the Sphinx is protecting something sacred. In this case, that something sacred is you, your energy, your space. And in order to pass by, you have to answer a riddle. And so there's kind of like this initiation that a lot of us are going through, where it's like we are learning, like the riddle is the metaphor for the standard that people have to meet in order to have access to our energy. And it's a really beautiful thing to start creating those standards for ourselves, for the people in our lives, and not feeling guilty about that. Like, if you don't meet this standard, if you don't treat me in this way, if you are not willing to rise to where I am at, and not in like a self-aggrandizing way, but like I am in a place where I am willing to look at my intentions. I am willing to look at my motivations. I am willing to own my energy, own my mistakes as well, look at my part in situations, and I am dedicated to my growth and expansion. And if you're not on that same level, if you don't want to meet me at that same level, then that's okay, but you don't get access to my energy. All right? It doesn't work like that. Even when I do these live streams, right, I have energetic barriers in place. Nobody is allowed to come on here. If people come on here and they're disrespectful, I don't even acknowledge that energy. They don't even exist to me. People notice them in the chat every once in a while. People pop in. I hardly even notice it anymore because they are not in my frequency. They are not within my realm, right? And nobody on here tolerates that either. Those people end up getting recognized by the people in the chat and blocked very quickly. Anyone trying to come in here and siphon off my energy, that is not allowed. I do not consent to that. That does not happen. All right. The only people who have access to my energy and access to whatever energies wish to be channeled through me, who are open to receiving those energies, are the people that are on that same frequency and bandwidth. And the people who find this channel and the people who end up here, we are all on a similar frequency and bandwidth. People who are not don't stay here. And that's okay. That's perfect, because they're not meant to. You all meet me where I'm at. I meet you where you're at, and we're all here together, right? And that's the way that it's meant to be in every aspect of our lives. If you want to be here, that's fine, but I'm not going to be there with you. I'm here. Come back when you're ready to be here too. You know? And seeking out the people who are here, right? Moving towards and vibrating towards the energy that we are growing into. All right, you guys, I think that's it. And if anybody out there needed to hear that they are safe, you are safe, you are loved. It is safe to be who you are. It is safe to be seen. I love you. I honor you. I respect you. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Each and every single one of you, you are so beautiful. You are so precious. You are so important. All right, I'll talk to all of you soon. Thank you for joining me. Hello, Solomon, brother, by the way. Thank you. Sorry, we're just wrapping it up now. I do have, you know, life things to attend to. Oh, it's like the hair wants to go up, but it also doesn't. You guys know the struggle, I'm sure. I'll talk to you all soon. If you didn't like the video, go ahead and do that before you peace out. And yeah, we'll be back soon with another one. Bye. Much love.